Did we just witness Burkina Faso flipping the script on global geopolitics? A convoy of military equipment is making waves, not just in Ouagadougou but worldwide. Armored vehicles, drones, and communication systems are rolling into Burkina Faso's arsenal, signaling a seismic shift in the nation's defense strategy. But here's the catch. This isn't just about a military upgrade. It's about power. Who has it, who's losing it, and what Burkina Faso plans to do with it. For years, Burkina Faso was written off as yet another victim of insurgency, destabilization, and dependence on external aid. But this convoy changes everything. It's not just a set of trucks. It's a statement that screams, "We're no longer playing by your rules." The question is, what's inside this convoy, and why does it matter so much? Let's find out. Let's talk about the convoy itself. Imagine the scene. Towering trucks rumbling through dusty streets. People gather along the roadside, eyes wide with curiosity, whispering questions. What's under those covers? What does this delivery mean? The sheer size of the convoy suggests significance. This isn't just a routine supply drop, it's a bold statement. For onlookers, the mystery is tantalizing, but for those paying closer attention, the answers are both obvious and thrilling. The convoy is a window into Burkina Faso's future, a vision of a military no longer limited by outdated tools, but instead equipped with the means to shift the balance of power in their favor. At the heart of this delivery lie three transformative elements, each carrying the potential to change the rules of engagement in the country's fight against insurgency. First, the armored vehicles. These aren't ordinary trucks. They are hulking behemoths designed to endure the unforgiving realities of modern warfare. Picture their impenetrable steel plating, their reinforced frames capable of absorbing the brutal impact of improvised explosive devices, IEDs. In a region where ambushes and roadside bombs are grim realities, these vehicles are game changers. Imagine a convoy advancing into hostile terrain, once a death trap, now a pathway of opportunity. Soldiers, once vulnerable to insurgent strikes, can now move with confidence, their safety assured by the sheer resilience of these machines. However, the importance of these armored vehicles goes beyond their physical capabilities. They represent a psychological advantage. For the troops riding inside, the knowledge that they are protected from the enemy's most devastating tactics changes everything. Fear gives way to courage, and hesitation is replaced by determination. Suddenly, the battlefield isn't just about survival, it's about taking control. The insurgents, who once thrived on exploiting vulnerabilities, are now faced with an adversary they can no longer intimidate. And then there are the drones. At first glance, they may seem unassuming, small, lightweight, almost innocuous. But these aren't toys or mere flying cameras. These drones are tools of precision and power, equipped with advanced surveillance technology that allows them to scan vast stretches of land with unparalleled accuracy. Imagine a drone soaring high above a dense forest, its sensors picking up the faint heat signatures of an insurgent camp hidden beneath the canopy. In real time, it relays this intelligence to a command center, enabling troops on the ground to act swiftly and decisively. For Burkina Faso's military, these drones are more than just a technological upgrade. They're a force multiplier. In a war where insurgents rely on hit-and-run tactics and the ability to blend into the landscape, having an unblinking eye in the sky is a game changer. The drones strip away the enemy's ability to hide, exposing their movements and reducing the element of surprise that insurgents have so often relied upon. What's more, they allow for precision strikes, minimizing collateral damage, and ensuring that military operations are both effective and humane. The third pillar of this convoy's transformative power is its communication systems. At first glance, these might not seem as thrilling as armored vehicles or drones, but their importance cannot be overstated. War is as much about coordination as it is about firepower. Without clear, secure communication, even the best-equipped military can falter. These systems ensure that soldiers can move in sync, that commanders can adapt strategies in real time, and that misinformation, often a powerful weapon in the hands of insurgents, is neutralized. If a squad of soldiers advancing through a remote village, armed with real-time intelligence relayed through encrypted channels, they know where the enemy is, where reinforcements are needed, and how to adjust their tactics on the fly. Compare this to the chaos of an army without such capabilities: confusion, delays, and costly mistakes. These communication systems bridge the gap, turning disjointed efforts into cohesive, well-executed operations. But the convoy isn't just about hardware. It's about transformation, about rewriting the narrative of Burkina Faso's military. For years, soldiers fought with outdated rifles, inadequate armor, and limited resources, often outmatched and outgunned by insurgents who exploited every weakness. This delivery is more than an upgrade. It's a turning point. It says to the troops, you are no longer fighting alone, underprepared, or unsupported. It says to the people of Burkina Faso, we are ready to protect you. And yet, while the convoy inspires hope and confidence, it also raises questions. Why now? Here's a reminder to please like and share the video and subscribe to our channel to watch more videos on Black culture, history, civilization, and identity. Let's continue now. What's driving this sudden push to modernize? And perhaps most intriguingly, who is behind this transformation? The timing isn't random, and the implications are far-reaching. The convoy may have arrived, but its journey, and the story it tells, is just beginning. Burkina Faso is at a critical juncture, facing one of the most turbulent periods in its recent history. Over the past year, insurgents have intensified their attacks with ruthless precision, leaving entire regions in disarray. Villages have been burned to the ground, displacing thousands. Schools, once beacons of hope for a better future, have been shuttered. Markets that once bustled with life now sit eerily silent, abandoned as families flee in desperation. The shadow of insecurity has stretched across the country, threatening not only lives but the very fabric of society. This unrelenting violence has created a mounting urgency for the government to act decisively. The pressure to deliver security isn't just political, it's deeply personal for citizens who've watched their homes, livelihoods, and loved ones taken by the chaos. And that's where the convoy comes in a bold, unflinching response to a crisis that can no longer be ignored. It's more than an influx of military hardware. It's a lifeline for a nation on the brink. But here's the thing. This isn't just about reacting to violence. It's about rewriting Burkina Faso's story. For years, the narrative was one of victimhood, a country overwhelmed by external forces, reliant on foreign aid, and struggling to find its footing. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the young and unyielding leader of Burkina Faso, is determined to change that. His vision isn't just about defense, it's about independence. Traoré's message is clear. Burkina Faso will no longer be a passive player in its own story, nor will it allow foreign powers to dictate its fate. This is no small feat. For decades, Burkina Faso, like many African nations, relied on Western nations for military aid. But that aid often came with strings attached, strings so tight they choked any real autonomy. Demands for political alignment, economic concessions, and policies that served Western interests more than Burkina Faso's own needs were the norm. The result? A country bound by obligations that left it struggling to address its most pressing issues. Traoré's decision to break away from this model is a bold gamble, one that speaks to his belief in the power of self-reliance. The timing of the convoy's arrival isn't just practical, it's symbolic. It marks a turning point, not just for Burkina Faso, but for the broader African geopolitical landscape. This isn't merely about fighting insurgents, it's about sending a message to the world. Burkina Faso is stepping onto the world stage with a declaration: we will not be pawns in anyone's game. The delivery of advanced military equipment underscores this sentiment, signaling to neighbors and global powers alike that Burkina Faso is ready to take control of its destiny. Yet, while the timing inspires hope, it also raises questions. Military upgrades of this scale don't happen in a vacuum. Someone, somewhere, is supporting Burkina Faso's ambitions, and that raises eyebrows. Who is backing this effort? What's in it for them? And how will this shift impact the region as a whole? To understand the timing fully, we need to look at the broader context. The convoy arrives at a moment when the balance of power in Africa is shifting. Burkina Faso isn't alone in rejecting Western influence. It's part of a growing trend across the continent. Countries are increasingly looking to new allies, diversifying their partnerships, and seeking solutions that prioritize their own needs over foreign agendas. The convoy is a tangible manifestation of this movement. Proof that Burkina Faso is ready to embrace a new path, even if it means challenging long-established norms. But this shift doesn't come without risks. Breaking away from traditional alliances can be as perilous as it is empowering. The global powers that once held sway over Burkina Faso won't simply fade into the background. Their influence lingers, and their interests remain. The convoy, then, isn't just a military delivery. It's a statement of defiance, a rejection of the old order, and a step into uncharted territory. The question now is, who is helping Burkina Faso take this leap? Is it a friendly ally with shared goals, or is there a deeper, more complex agenda at play? The answers could reshape not just Burkina Faso's future, but the entire region's. For now, one thing is certain. The timing of this convoy is no coincidence. It's a calculated move in a much larger game, one where Burkina Faso is no longer content to be a bystander. If there's one question lighting up discussions in think tanks and diplomatic circles worldwide, it's this. Where did Burkina Faso get its convoy? Let's not kid ourselves. Drones, armored vehicles, and cutting-edge communication systems don't just appear out of thin air, especially in a country that, until recently, depended heavily on foreign aid to address its military shortcomings. The arrival of such advanced equipment suggests the involvement of a powerful and intentional benefactor. The West is watching closely, but the spotlight is glaring in a different direction, toward non-Western allies eager to disrupt the global status quo. Russia emerges as the most obvious player in this geopolitical chess game. In recent years, Moscow has made a calculated push into Africa, reviving relationships that harken back to the Soviet era. The Kremlin's strategy is clear: support nations seeking independence from Western influence and, in turn, gain a foothold in a resource-rich and strategically significant continent. Burkina Faso's growing ties with Russia have already been the subject of speculation, with reports of Russian military advisors making their presence felt in the region. Add to this the shadowy involvement of the Wagner Group, Russia's notorious private military outfit, and the puzzle starts coming together. For Russia, aiding Burkina Faso isn't just about goodwill or altruism, it's a wise geopolitical play. By supplying military support to countries like Burkina Faso, Russia undermines Western dominance in regions where it has long enjoyed near-total influence. In this context, the convoy isn't just a gift, it's a tool to challenge the West's grip on Africa, one piece of hardware at a time. The stakes aren't just military, they're economic, political, and ideological. Then there's China, the quieter yet equally formidable force on the continent. While Russia's approach is often bold and military-centric, China takes a more measured, long-term view. Known for its expertise in technology and infrastructure, Beijing's fingerprints are likely all over the communication systems included in the convoy. These systems, sleek, efficient, and advanced, reflect China's penchant for technological solutions that offer both immediate utility and long-term strategic advantages. China's motives, like Russia's, extend far beyond the battlefield. For Beijing, Burkina Faso represents an opportunity to deepen its influence in a region bursting with untapped potential. By providing advanced technology, China isn't just aiding Burkina Faso's military, it's embedding itself in the country's broader infrastructure, creating ties that go beyond weapons and war. In doing so, China strengthens its position as a key partner for African nations looking to break free from Western economic and political constraints. But while the support of Russia and China bolsters Burkina Faso's military, it also raises difficult questions. Is Burkina Faso, in rejecting Western influence, simply trading one set of powerful backers for another? Are Russia and China truly allies in the fight for African sovereignty? Or are they pursuing their agendas under the guise of partnership? It's a delicate balance. On one hand, Burkina Faso's ability to secure this convoy without bowing to Western pressures is a victory in itself. On the other hand, true independence requires vigilance against becoming a pawn in someone else's game. The convoy's arrival underscores a critical moment, not just for Burkina Faso, but for Africa as a whole. It represents a shift in alliances and a reimagining of power dynamics that could ripple across the continent. As more nations explore alternative partnerships, the traditional dominance of Western powers in Africa faces increasing challenges. Burkina Faso is leading this charge, but the question remains, is this the start of a truly independent African defense strategy, or merely a reshuffling of global allegiances? Still, the convoy is only as significant as the change it brings on the ground. The advanced equipment must now translate into strategic victories against insurgents who have long exploited the military's weaknesses. The focus shifts to the battlefield, where the true test of this convoy and its backers will unfold. Can this new era of alliances and technology turn the tide in Burkina Faso's fight for peace and sovereignty? Only time will tell. But as far as the fear of dependency on China and Russia is concerned, we know they don't want to rule Burkina Faso as the West did. And Traoré isn't a puppet. He knows what to do to stop nations from interfering. Now the question is, how will this convoy impact Burkina Faso? The true measure of this convoy's significance lies not in its arrival, but in the changes it brings. For soldiers entrenched on the front lines, these armored vehicles, drones, and advanced communication tools are far more than mere upgrades. They are lifelines. Picture a soldier walking into a battlefield armed with a weapon older than they are, no aerial support, and little to no backup. Now picture the same soldiers equipped with drones that act as their eyes in the sky, armored vehicles that shield them from enemy fire, and a communication system that ensures their every move is part of a coordinated strategy. The difference isn't just tactical, it's transformational. Let's take drones, for example. These aren't just gadgets, they are game changers. With their ability to sweep vast terrains and detect even the faintest signs of insurgent activity, they offer commanders a strategic edge previously unimaginable. Imagine insurgent camps hidden deep in forest or concealed by the sprawling Sahelian landscape. These camps, once undetectable, can now be identified long before they become operational threats. This shifts the dynamic entirely. Instead of reacting to attacks, Burkina Faso's military can now act preemptively, dismantling threats before they materialize. Armored vehicles add another layer of capability. These aren't just transportation tools, they are mobile fortresses. Soldiers once vulnerable to roadside bombs and ambushes can now move through dangerous territories with newfound confidence. Where previously advancing into enemy-held areas was a gamble, it is now a calculated risk. These vehicles don't just protect, they empower. They give troops the courage to push forward, to retake areas long lost to insurgents, and to secure regions critical to the country's stability. And let's not forget the communication systems. Arguably, the unsung heroes of this convoy. In warfare, miscommunication can be fatal. A delay in relaying orders, a misunderstood directive, or a lack of situational awareness can turn a well-planned operation into chaos. These advanced communication tools ensure that such breakdowns are a thing of the past. Soldiers on the ground, commanders in control centers, and aerial surveillance units can now operate as a single, cohesive unit. Strategies can adapt in real time, and misinformation, an insurgent's weapon of choice, can be countered with precision. But the impact of this convoy extends far beyond the battlefield. For communities that have lived under the shadow of violence for years, the arrival of a stronger military isn't just a tactical improvement, it's a symbol of hope. Picture villages long abandoned due to insurgent attacks now beginning to see life return. Markets, once silent, now bustling with traders and customers. Schools, shuttered out of fear, now echoing with the laughter of children. For these communities, the convoy isn't just a military asset. It's the promise of normalcy. On a national level, this convoy marks a pivotal turning point. Under Captain Ibrahim Traoré's leadership, Burkina Faso is no longer content to be seen as a victim or a pawn in a global game of influence. For decades, the country's military was underfunded, outmatched, and overly reliant on foreign aid that often came with strings attached. This convoy, and the partnerships it symbolizes, is a statement. Burkina Faso is ready to chart its course. This isn't just about independence from insurgents, it's about independence from the systems that have long dictated the country's trajectory. Traoré's vision for a stronger, self-reliant Burkina Faso is embodied in this convoy. It's a testament to resilience, to the idea that a nation once underestimated can rise to redefine its narrative. So, will other African nations follow Burkina Faso's lead, rejecting outdated power dynamics in favor of self-reliance? And will this convoy mark the beginning of a new chapter in Africa's role on the global stage? Let us know in the comments section what you think about Traoré after this. Do you want to watch more videos like this one? If so, subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon next to it. We have decided to bring videos on something nobody talks about: the Black culture, civilization, history, and evidence about how glorious Blacks have been. Thanks for watching, and until the next video, stay tuned.